Speaking of the sewer system, do you believe that the Village of Naples should continue to pursue the public sewer infrastructure? If no, why not? If yes, what course of action would you take?
Emma? Absolutely, I believe that the village should continue to pursue a sewer system. Challenger, as he just stated, believes that it's too expensive and apparently we should stop trying. Unfortunately, a sewer system for this village is imperative to our economic health. Now, granted, it's extremely expensive to install such an infrastructure. We all get that. We're all aware of that. Over the last 2 years, we have worked on a hybrid system in hopes that we can present yet another possibility to the public. And when I say that, we're presenting the cost of financing to the public. We always speak of this in terms of whether or not we're going to vote on a sewer system or any other capital project. When the reality is, we're not voting on that capital project, we're voting on whatever financing may be attached to it. I do agree with the challenger, however, that cost isn't a very important factor. And seeking the best way to finance this with the least amount of burden on our citizens is the best approach. So how do we do that? We certainly don't do that by giving up. It's extremely important to our economic viability to have a sewer system, and here is why. We cannot support any business venture anywhere in this village that uses any amount of water. That's plain and simple. We don't have lot size that's capable of having leach systems to handle the effluent, to handle the waste, and that prevents us from not only maintaining the business environment that we currently have, but it also prevents us from growing that economic infrastructure. It prevents us from attracting further stakeholders, people that can help offset our own tax burden as citizens of this village. Now, we all know that most of these business owners that are currently here are not village residents, okay? But they're still stakeholders. There are a few, but most are not even residents of this village, but they still have a stake in this community, and we need to see them prosper. The fact that you're a resident or not a resident really doesn't play into the picture here. And this all, again, comes down to our economic viability and our economic health. We need to find a way for the public to support this. I'll leave it at that.
We need to pursue a sewer project, but in a different way. Brian said that, I think he's speaking about the project with Widmer's. Possibly that'll work. But the first thing we got to do, we have a lot of people around Naples that are come in here and build a house and stuff. I know at least 6 people out there that write grants, are connected with financial institutions that do this thing. I've talked to 2 or 3 of them. I don't think money, there's money available, but you got to get the right people there. And these people are willing to spend a few hours helping us get in contact with them. That might be a way to start. But the full-blown system, you just can't afford it. And I'd like to see, they started one a couple of years ago, and that was the downfall of the 3 that I started working on, was we assumed that they would pass each time. We assumed that the public would, they got cheaper and cheaper, and we thought that sure they'd go, but they didn't. So, like Brian said, you got to go the economic route and make it acceptable to all the people in the village that pay the tax. we gotta look outside the village to the possibility of putting more people online. That way we can generate more money. And I think with a lot of tweaking and stuff, we might be able to do that.
May I rebut?
Yeah, I'll give you a minute, and then I'll allow him a minute.
Okay,
That will suffice.
thank you. The challenger made a statement, claiming that the first thing we need to do is pursue grants. With that in mind, again, I mentioned that we have a current project that we are attempting to pursue. We've gone entirely through feasibility on that project, and we're ready to go into construction engineering phase, which means we're at the point where we need to begin talking to the public one more time again about the current effort, which is a three-phase plan. I'm not going to get into the details of that, and certainly we'll have meetings on that very, very soon. But I want to go back to the grants issue. The last effort at sewers was done solely on the backs of the public and village finance. This current effort, and again, to the tune of $80,000 over budget, by the way. This current plan has been financed for the last 2 years, all the way through feasibility, with grants, okay? With a DEC grant and a local economic development grant. 2 grants, as a matter of fact, of which we still have not spent in its entirety and have funds to go into construction engineering. So I want the public to be aware that yes, we do